Welcome to another episode of MotoDeal's Behind a Desk Home Edition, where we talk to some of your favorite personalities about motorcycles. Now, before anything, I want to remind you guys to please click the like and subscribe button so that you know when we have a new video up. Now, our guest today is everyone's favorite weatherman, one of the most respected people in the riding community, and he is an animal lover. I'm talking, of course, about Kuya Kim Atienza. And okay. Kuya Kim Atienza, how are you doing during this lockdown?
Well, very good. I created a routine in such a way that I'm very busy the whole day,
Yeah.
and the days have become quite constructive. I'm okay. I'm very good. Coping very well. It's
Yeah.
actually a blessing because I spend so much time with my family now, my kids
Yeah.
and my wife.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. I mean, following you on social media, it seems like you're handling this lockdown a lot better than most people. Now I know, Kim, you as well as myself and a lot of riders out there really miss getting on the bikes and enjoying going on a ride. How much do you think about that throughout the lockdown?
Well, all the time, Gino. You know naman how riding has become our lifestyle.
Yeah.
We don't just ride as a hobby, but it's part of our life.
Yeah.
I ride every single day. I ride to work and
Mm-hmm.
I'm on a motorcycle all the time. And it really is a lifestyle. I miss it. And I miss other things as well, like meeting up with friends
Yeah.
personally,
Yeah.
making tambay.
Yeah.
Remember our escolta?
Yeah. Yeah. That's fun.
But that's a way of coping. I've been tuning up my motorcycles. I
Yeah.
learned how to tune twin carbs, and I was able to tune them the first 2 days.
Yeah.
It was a disaster at first, but I learned through YouTube and through FaceTime.
Yeah.
Messenger.
Let's talk about some of your bikes. I know, I mean, you of all the people I know have such an extensive collection of bikes, but you really are more drawn to the classics. When you think about classic bikes, you think Kuya Kim. What is it about the classic bikes that you really enjoy?
It actually started back in the 90s.
Yeah.
I was a scooterist then. I was on like now. I was on a scooter every single day.
Mm-hmm.
All the scooters I was collecting then were all old, were all classics. It
Yeah.
started with a Vespa, a PX first, a PX 150. Then it became a GS 160. Then a series of Lambretas that I owned that I was riding all the time. Then I was still torn between riding new bikes or old bikes. But I decided early on in the 90s pa lang that I really am for old bikes. Mainly because, not literally, don't take this literally, but
Yeah.
old bikes have soul.
Yeah.
You have to, there's such a thing as mechanical sympathy,
Mm-hmm.
meaning you talk to the bikes all the time.
Yeah.
Before you shift gears, you ask the bike first, are you ready? Are your revs matching already? Can I shift now?
Yeah.
Do I use you today or do I use this other bike because your carbs are not in tune? So
Yeah.
you talk to them. So there's a relationship.
Yeah.
Unlike the new bikes are great. Maingay mga aso ko. I have so many dogs here. Okay lang naman tayo. No?
Yeah.
Naman, no?
Yeah. I can totally hear you.
Dogs.
Yeah. It's part of who you are. I mean, this is Kuya Kim with all the animals.
Yes. Feeding time. They're feeding all the 29 dogs. I have 29 dogs in this
Wow.
house now.
Yeah.
So, old vehicles, old
Yeah.
motorcycles, you really have to be sensitive. You have to listen to it. You
Yeah.
have to talk to it. You know when to brake. You know how fast you can go because you know that you won't stop if you go too fast.
Mm-hmm.
Kinakausap mo. Parang
Yeah.
may soul. Although
Yeah.
again, not literally. Wala namang kaluluwa yan. Bagay
Yeah.
lamang yan.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what excites me about them. I
Yeah.
tried getting into newer bikes recently because I shifted to big bikes quite recently. 5 years pa lang.
Okay.
But the first year, I was into new bikes. And
Mhm.
new bikes really perform. You can go really fast.
Yeah.
You can stop. You can make mistakes.
Yeah.
But they don't excite me as much as I shifted back to old bikes and I sold
Yeah.
all my new bikes. And I'm into classics again. They don't excite me. They don't stimulate me as much as a vintage bike that may not go too fast, but is so full of character. And that's
Yeah.
what I like about riding.
Yeah. But you do have some a little bit more current bikes. I saw the CB that you had. Quite beautiful. What year is that?
Actually, the CB, even my new bikes,
Yeah.
I dress up and I build in such a way that they look like old bikes.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
CB that
Yeah.
you saw,
Yeah.
whenever we ride together, whenever we make comeback together, I brought it a few times. It's patterned after the original CB 750, which I owned. I had one.
Yeah.
The CB750 is a historical bike. Eh.
Yeah.
If you're a collector of bikes, you should have one. Eh. Because
Mm-hmm.
it was the very first real superbike. And
Okay.
it's the bike, when it was released by Honda in 1969, killed the entire European bike industry. Killed
Yeah.
especially the British bike industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Iconic bikes in the 60s were the Triumph, Bonneville,
Yeah.
the Norton Dominator, Norton Commando. You know, all these bikes, when the CB750 came out, they just died. Why? Because it was half the price.
Yeah.
It didn't have any leaks. It had disc brakes.
Yeah.
It had push start, and it was smooth and reliable compared to the British bikes.
Yeah.
And the CB11 that you saw is patterned. Even the paint,
Yeah.
the detail, the double exhausts,
Mm-hmm.
patterned then after the CB750. So if you look from afar, it looks like a CB750, but it's actually a current CB11.
Ah, okay.
1500, yeah.
But you did a fantastic job modifying that, customizing it,
I don't know if you can call it customizing, but classifying,
classifying. Sorry, Yeah.
vintagizing. There's such a word.
Yeah.
There's such a word.
Now, something else that I remember that you were talking to me about in one of our TAM bikes was with the Royal Enfields. You actually are super impressed with this brand. You
Oh yeah,
enjoy it.
yeah.
You enjoy the Royal Enfield a lot more than a lot of people out there. Why is that?
You know what? It would be hypocritical to say that Europe is still the center of production of
Sure.
European bikes.
Yeah.
The big European brands have their production in Asia.
Yeah. Yeah.
And say that no, it's under British supervision naman eh. With British supervisors, we just have Asian workers,
Yeah.
which is a bit racist when you think about it. Or we have Italian supervisors, but the workforce is Asian. It's very apologetic and it's very defensive on a marketing point of view.
Yeah.
You know, the Royal Enfield is the only brand that is totally unapologetic. You know why? Because they moved to India
Yeah.
as part of their history as a brand.
Yeah.
They did not move to India for economy. Unlike most brands now who move to Vietnam, Thailand,
Yeah.
India, the Philippines, to be competitive, the Royal Enfield, part of its history was it moved to India in the late 60s because of the India-Pakistan war. And because India needed war motorcycles, they constructed a factory in India.
Okay.
And so the Royal Enfield was being produced in Redditch in England
Mm-hmm.
and in India at the same time then. And then because of the history of Honda CB750 that killed the British bike industry, the British bike industry, including Royal Enfield, died.
Mm.
But they were still in production and very much in demand in India.
Sure. Yeah.
And it was still the same Royal Enfield, although produced in India.
Yeah.
Namatay ang British Royal Enfield, nagtuloy ang Indian Royal Enfield, hanggang ngayon, nagtuloy-tuloy pa rin, at sila na ngayon ang pinakamayaman na bike brand. And actually, they're so successful in producing Royal Enfields that they're moving back to Redditch. They bought the old factory and they'll be reproducing old bikes in the old factory, but
Yeah.
owned by the India factory.
Yeah.
So, producing bikes since 1901 to present, non-stop.
Yeah.
They're the only brand that can claim that. Eh.
That is quite impressive. Yeah, but you have a Royal Enfield. Which one do you have?
Yes. Actually, my Royal Enfield is so famous because for a few months, it was borrowed by GMA7, by Dong Dantes. Meron siyang teleserye, Empire of the Sun ba yun? Basta alam ko, war.
Yeah.
And they needed a motorcycle that's military and that looks period. And my Royal Enfield kasi, it's again, vintagized.
Yeah.
It looks like a 1944 Royal Enfield. So it was
Yeah.
perfect for the part.
Yeah.
So it was on primetime TV for a long time.
Yeah.
Still with Dog now. It's a classic 500. The classic
Okay.
500 has been in production since the 70s
Yeah.
up to present. Pero EFI na ito eh. Wala nang carb ito.
Yeah.
I got it in 2016 or 2017.
Okay.
2016 when I got it, no?
Yeah.
So it's a 2016 model, but if you look at it, it looks like a 1944 model.
Sure.
In 1944, Royal Enfield came out with a motorcycle called the Flying Flea. You know why it's called the Flying Flea?
No.
They were dropped from airplanes
Yeah.
to land in India or Pakistan and then to be ridden. No, in
Wow.
Europe pala. It was also used, the Flying V was used in the European, in World War II in Europe. It was
Yeah.
sturdy enough to be dropped from an airplane by parachute. And then,
Yeah.
although it was smaller than the classic Royal Enfield, what I did was, ginaya ko yung suspension. The classic, the modern Royal Enfield kasi now has telescopic forks eh.
Mm-hmm.
The World War II Royal Enfield had a girder. They're called girder forks. Ito yung dalawa yung gano'n.
Okay.
So very vintage. From the time I got that bike, it's the third year now, hindi ko hinugasan yan. I even told Dong, Dong, when you use it, ang request ko sa'yo, huwag mo hugasan. Every time gagamitin mo, pag naputikan, huwag mo hugasan. So ang
Yeah.
kapal na ng dibag, bro. Wash ang World War II. Wash ang World War II. Bike talaga. Actually, 2 years ago, in MotoBuilds,
Yeah.
MotoBuilds in Kazak Lucero, nilaban namin ni Jonathan yan eh.
Yeah.
Nilaban namin sa open. Walang may alam kung ano itsura niyang bike na yan eh. So yung dinala namin yan, ang nasa open category, uso kasi ang cafe racer ngayon eh.
Mm-hmm.
So you see all these sleek, shiny cafe racers, bro. Yun
Yeah.
ang kalaban namin.
Yeah.
Dumating yan, si World War II hero ang pangalan yan eh. Norma namin doon, ang libag, bro. Talagang kapal ng libag. Pero mukhang tunay. It won overall champion.
It's a beautiful bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, and with a great story as well. Great
It has a great story. And
Yeah.
it's so reliable, man. You
Yeah.
can use it till the end of the Philippines. At pag nasira, paayos mo sa sidecar, ayusin nila yan. Kaya nilang ayusin yan.
But
Hindi
don't
lang
you
siya
find?
mabilis.
Yeah. That's one thing about REs. But don't you find them a little bit heavy for what they are?
They are, yeah. Especially this Royal Enfield because Jonathan, the builder,
Mm-hmm.
had to create the girder forks
Okay.
from without any papers, without any architectural plan,
Yeah.
without any engineering plan. So Uido. So he didn't know the rake
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
the angle. So the first girder fork that he did, pagdating mo ng 60 kilometers per hour, nagwawabol,
Yeah.
bro. So mamamatay ka. Sabi niya, Kim, di ko papadala sa ito kasi baka mamatay ka rito. Sabi ko, wag, ayusin natin. So he
Yeah.
had to adjust the rake. And when the rake was adjusted, nawala na yung nginig. Nanginginig na lang na like a typical Royal Enfield.
Yeah.
Lahat naman ng Royal Enfield nanginginig.
Well,
Ganun na lang.
the Interceptor and the Continental GT, parang it's less. It's a whole lot less compared to the other ones.
Yeah. The Continental GT, ibang bike yan.
Yeah.
It's modeled after the Continental GT,
Yeah.
but it is a modern bike.
It's
modern
modern.
bike.
Yeah.
Again,
Modern
it's a
na
Royal
talaga.
Enfield. It's not as fast as a Ducati, but the build quality
Yeah. Quite
for
good.
the price.
Yeah.
Oh, for the price, napakamura.
Yeah, and they're super
Magaling.
aggressive. They're
Very
super aggressive with the pricing, with the payment schemes.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
really quite unbelievable what they're trying to achieve.
I'd like to shout out to the owner of Royal Enfield. Kaibigan ko yan, si Jimmy Barinaga.
Mm.
Jimmy, his story is also quite. He's a brother Christian like me.
Okay.
And he was making kwento that he was on the verge of bankruptcy. He was on the verge of bankruptcy, and he was gonna fall down his customization business and his motorcycle business, and then out of prayer, this guy just comes out and then buys a couple of bikes, and then he's up again, and then mamaya hawak na niya yung Royal Enfield without knowing how successful the brand was gonna be, and it's become one of the most successful brands now.
Yeah.
Nakakatuwa si Jimmy. Okay yan.
Yeah. Now, we talked about some of your classic bikes, the Hondas, the REs, but something that I when I see you, most of the time that I see you, you're always in a BMW.
The Boxers.
What is it about the BMW brand that I guess you're drawn to so much?
These particular BMWs I like. The new BMWs, I admire them.
Yeah.
They're good.
Yeah.
Except again, the new bikes. I want the old ones.
Yeah.
Oh, the old Boxers or something else.
Yeah.
They're so engineered so simply and so precisely na pag may nasira, kaya mo ayusin.
Mm.
I tuned the carbs. How can I tune twin carbs, man?
Yeah.
By FaceTime lang. Kausap ko si Kit Nicolas.
Yeah.
Kit, nawala sa tono ng carbs ko. Ganito gagawin mo. 2 tornilyo. Kuti-kutin mo. 1/2, 1/4, 3/4. Bro, naayos ko. And then one time, my left carb, pag in-on mo yung vintage bikes kasi merong on-off ang gas niyan eh.
Mm.
May toggle switch, no? Tumagas ang gasolina. Sabi ko, Kit, matindi to. Send your mechanic, bro. ano to, delikado, ang daming gas, hindi, ganito lang yan. Isara mo. O merong clip yan. O, clip. Pitik-pitikin mo ng konti yung float. Na bumara lang yan. Bro, ganun lang, naayos. So, alam mo, this bike, I can bring this to Apari and be the mechanic. And I'm not mechanically inclined, but it's so simple that it can be fixed.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that the R50 and the R60 has history also. One of the best books written about motorcycles, although it's not about motorcycles, is by Robert Piercig. Yung the art, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. And the bikes there were BMW Boxers.
Okay.
I think one was a BMW R50 and one was a BMW R69. So, ano yan, yun ang history niyan. But again, speaking of soul, these bikes have character.
Yeah.
Talagang may character to.
Yeah.
Dapat depende sa boxer engine. The R50, it likes to glide. Bibigyan mo na ng konti. O, okay ka na. O, sige, babawasan ko ng konti. O, bibigyan kita ng konti. Babawasan ko ng konti. Happy ka, ha? Pero siya sweet spot.
Yeah.
Pag nahanap mo yung sweet spot, bro, it's like you're singing.
Yeah.
It's like you're singing with the motorcycle and you're one with it, man.
Yeah.
And then the R75 naman, iba naman ang ugali niyan. I have two kasi. The R75/5, iba naman. If you ride it like an R50 na hanapan mo ng sweet spot, ayaw niya. Gusto niya, bibigyan mo. Pagka sinakyan mo, bigyan mo kagad.
Yeah.
Gusto niya, habang binibigyan mo, habang tumataas ang torque range mo, gusto pa niyang pataas ng pataas ng pataas. Ganun siya. So, ang ganda ng ugali nila talagang, okay talaga. That's why old bikes are beautiful because each bike has ugali. Each bike has character.
Yeah.
Sarap talaga.
Now, do you still, like, I mean, with the type of collection that you have, do you still see bikes out there that you could see yourself owning? Maybe like an adventure bike for longer rides, or maybe a dirt bike for when you want to go off-road a little bit? Or are you set with what you have, and is this parang, this is me, I found myself, this is who I am, and I'm sticking to it?
Based on my lifestyle kasi now, although I'd love to go out of town, go on a 3-4 day adventure trip, it's so difficult because of my schedule.
Sure, yeah.
So 90% of the riding that I do based on my lifestyle, is commuting. Commuting and brief tambikes, because I need a bike to go around, do the things that I do, no?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind an adventure bike.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Ducati Multistrada bikes.
Okay.
But again, it will not fit my collection. As a collector kasi, I'm torn between just being a rider or being a collector. When I put naman kasi the Multistrada or the GS1250 beside my bike collection, they'll stand out. Di ba?
Yeah, super.
Even kasi my garage, I curated it in a way that it looks like a museum.
Yeah.
So, kita mo, puro luma, biglang boom, merong Multistrada o merong GS. So, from the artistic point of view, hindi bagay, but from a rider point of view, I'd love to, I wouldn't mind an adventure bike.
You mentioned nga that you really ride every day, whether it's raining, no matter how hot it is, no matter what, and you do go to work all the way in Quezon City, in ABS. What's it like for you to commute to and from home to work every day with the classic bikes that you have?
It's meditation.
Yeah.
For me, it's so therapeutic. I'd rather be stuck rush hour under the rain in EDSA Guadalupe than be in a car.
Really?
For me, it's still a better experience that I'm stuck on a big bike and it's hot and it's raining and I'm not moving because it's rush hour than being stuck in EDSA in a beautiful luxury car. I'd rather be on a bike because of many things. Riding for me is meditation. It's my quiet time. I depending, regardless of condition that I'm riding, it's always a prayer for me. The minute I sit on the bike, the minute I rev its engine, the minute I ride, it's quiet time. I pray and I talk to God.
Yeah.
And then number two, it's a great grounding experience. Being with the angkas drivers, being with the underbone drivers, you're side by side.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Funny nga kasi even if my face is covered and I have a bandana, because of like your program or because the bikes have appeared in many programs, in many shows, bro, they know the bike. And they know it's me. Kahit naka full face helmet ako, Kuya Kim! Uy, nakabandana ako, naka-helmet ako. Kasi alam na nila yung bike. So, kaibigan ko na silang lahat ng mga angkas drivers, lahat ng mga underbone drivers yan.
I have a quick story to tell you about that. I had because my bike is a green classic looking cafe racer, and I was stuck in traffic.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I was with a half face helmet, but I had a bandana on and goggles. Angkas rider looks at me and says, "Hoy, Kuya Kim."
Kasi classic ang bike mo.
Classic yung bike ko. So I was like, nag-wave naman ako. I was like, oh.
Okay, so lahat pala ng mga classic bike riders, Kuya Kim ang tawag.
Kuya Kim.
Akala ko galing-galing nila, na-recognize ako, lahat pala tayo. Okay.
It's happened once, but it was pretty funny. I was laughing all the way to work when I told her. If you have advice out there for people who want to get into motorcycles, who are thinking about buying their first bike, or maybe switching from a car to a bike, we don't know what the new normal will be like. So maybe a bike is going to be something that's going to be more affordable and more advisable for people after the quarantine has been lifted. What advice would you give? What advice would you give them?
Well, my advice is number one, pick a bike that is compatible to the way you want to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get a huge adventure bike when you just want to commute from Malate to Quezon City or from Malate to Makati, diba?
Yeah.
If you're gonna use it for commuting, then get a medium powered bike that's not big and not small and that's comfortable. Basta get a bike that's comfortable for you and for the way you're gonna use it, and then invest in lessons. As you invest your money on a bike, invest in lessons also.
Yeah.
I would suggest to go to the Honda riding school for basic traffic lessons and slow speed maneuvering. And then when you're a bit faster, you can get invest in a California Superbike school or the DRE, Ducati Riding Experience, and many others. There are private instructors also able to teach high-speed riding.
Yeah.
So invest in a bike, invest in lessons, and invest in gear. Do not ever save money on a cheap helmet. So the good helmets are expensive, mahal talaga yan. But invest in that and invest in a good jacket and good pants and good shoes also.
Yeah.
So yan ang mga initial investment. And then when you have your bike already, treat it with respect. Treat it with respect. The most dangerous time in a biker's life is the first year of riding. Because after 1 year, you think that you know it because you're so comfortable already with the bike when you don't.
Yeah.
And when the minute that you become complacent and casual with your riding is the minute you can die.
Yeah.
All it takes is 1 split second of distraction because you're so used to the bike, so you think, you get clipped by a bus and then you die. And then, so the goal of every ride is to be able to ride home to your wife and kids in one piece, all refreshed and all happy because you had a productive day and a productive ride.
Yeah.
Pero never be casual on a bike. Never.
Okay. Well, Kuya Kim, I wish you and I had this conversation face to face in a tam bike that we normally do.
Escolta.
But unfortunately, it has to be this way for now. But thank you for your time, man. I appreciate it. I know you're a busy guy despite the quarantine. I appreciate the time that you're giving to us.
Hey, Gino, it's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure speaking with you, and I hope to see you soon in the flesh.
Yeah.
The sooner, the better.
The sooner, the better. Let's go for a ride when things settle down and normalize.
Okay, Gino.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kuya.
Okay.
Okay.
Anytime, bro.